Archery, a good alternative to firearms? Hey everybody, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. Is archery a viable option for preppers? Yes. Will it replace the evil F word that ends with arms? No, not even. But is it a good option to add to your preparedness plan? Definitely. Why? Well, I'll tell you what. Arrows are reusable for the most part, unless you damage them, break them, lose them, stuff like that. Okay, reusable. And you can learn how to make your own. It's not easy, but it can be done. So first off, I suggest having a book on archery, having a book on boyer and fletching, bowing and fletching, the making of bows and the making of arrows. Very good. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about it, show you some of the options that we have for this purpose, for archery. Another thing other than reusable ammunition is that it is quiet. It is almost silent. It is not totally silent, of course, but it's very quiet. So you can hunt, do things like that, that doesn't tell the whole world that you're there. In an SHTF scenario, a collapse type scenario, you don't want to announce to the whole world, hey, here I am, and I have this thing out here, and I'm doing things with it, because then that may attract unwanted attention. We don't necessarily want to attract unwanted attention at all times. Now, those things are good, and we talk about those things over on Patreon. Links in the description below if you want to go there. We don't talk about them here on this channel, on YouTube. But we do talk about things like an alternative. What are some of the alternatives? Okay, first off, I want to show you this is my longbow. This is a 45-pound pull by Martin that I had made for me. And yes, I get it. It's 45-pound pull. Can you use it for hunting? Yes, you can, but it's not optimal. You want a higher pull weight. I have one like that also. I have a Black Widow longbow that is, I think it's a 60-pound draw weight. That's better for hunting. This is mainly for practice and for fun, because we make prepping fun, right? We learn these skills and we get out and do these kind of things with our families. But it is a longbow, and is it the best option? No. A compound bow with sights and triggers and all that fancy stuff is probably a better option for efficiency and for the effectiveness. But I like the traditional longbow. No frills, no fancy stuff, back to basics. Learning how to shoot this is a skill, and it's fun. I'll tell you what, this is part of making prepping fun, right? So this is a really nice bow. I love it. Longbow is cool. And it's just the traditional, like, you know, English longbow type thing. I don't think it's quite as big as the traditional English longbows. But let me set this up to the side. Oh, one note on storage, since I'm setting this down for storage, is you want to make sure that these two areas here, parts of the bow that I'm holding, you need to make sure when you store them that they are perfectly flat. Because if one of them gets kind of twisted, like I'm doing here, out of flatness, then the bow won't shoot true. You might be able to figure out how to still shoot it, but it won't be accurate and it won't be point of aim type thing. So make sure you're storing it with this flat. So I'm going to set it here flat between the two edges of my raised bed. And then I'm going to talk about another option that's also more traditional. I don't have well, actually I do. But anyway, I'm not going to get into compound bows. This is a beautiful bow. This is what's called a recurve. This was we had made for my wife, handcrafted by Howitt, by Martin. And it is a left-handed bow. And yes, This is only a 35-pound pull weight for practice. This is the fun side of archery. And it does have, you know, attachments there for some of the Gucci stuff. But anyway, this is a left-handed bow. So you'll hold it like this, recurve, so this curves back. I guess I could show you that really quick. Let me do that. Let me pause the video, string this, and show you. Actually, I figured since I'm stringing, I might as well show you how to. See the recurve section? You put it down on the ground like that. You put one foot, I put my right foot there, bring my other foot leg around. And then you kind of hook it between your legs like that, and then you pull, let me get in camera, pull back on this, on the top part, and then hook your bowstring in. There you go. Now it is strung. So now I'm a little further from the camera also. You can see it's strung. This is a nice recurve bow. Simple. Like I said, left-handed, that's why I'm holding my, or actually it'd be like this, left-handed. I forget about that. That's why it feels better in my hand, this side, than this side. Okay, so this is a left-handed bow. One thing you don't want to do with bows is you can pull them back to practice, but don't ever let it go and come forward. Don't release the bowstring without an arrow on it. That'll damage your bow. But this is a nice option for bows. So let me bring the camera back here a little bit closer so we can talk easier and I can see and I don't have to sit here and scream. Bows are fun. Archery is fun. Let me really quickly, while I'm talking, I will unstring this one, and there we go. Sometimes your leg gets stuck in it. Ah, get my leg out of the bowstring. Okay, there we go. And then again, store it flat. Okay, that's stored flat. So let's talk a little bit about arrows. This is a box of arrows. You can see different things. The leather bracer protect your forearm from abrasions from the bowstring. You can get something like this. You don't necessarily have to. This is just a leather one, simple, because back to basics, longbow simplicity. Yeah, we wanted the old school kind of effect. And then there's also these things you can put on your fingers to help you pull the bowstring effectively. Do I use it? Usually not, but they're there. But that's for my wrong hand because I'm right-handed. So anyway, those are some of the extra things. Here is they make stringing devices that help you string the bow, although not really necessary with bows at this draw weight. Maybe with higher draw weight, yeah. Let me see, what are some of the arrows? Okay, so these are, you can tell that one is no good anymore. So yeah, different kind of tips with razor blades on them basically for hunting. There's that one, there's a different style right there. That one's old and rusty, it needs to be cleaned up. But these are carbon fiber arrows. As you can see, an important thing, I'm not an archery master, but the length of your arrows is important, and the capacity, the strength of your arrows is important for what your draw weight is. Whatever you're shooting at, if you're shooting a compound bow with 100 plus draw weight, pound draw weight, you need different arrows. You can't use little cheapo Walmart $3 each arrows in a high power compound bow, right? You can't. Okay, so there's those, and then let me show you, here's a couple with, here's one with just a training tip. That's for just, going around having fun. And as you can see, here's what I'm talking about, the different numbers. See, 500, here's one, 340. So there's different, pay attention to your arrows, learn about your arrows, and let me show you some other, what do we got, some other options here. Okay, here's another one. That's just a double two razor blades with little points here on the sides. This one's broken off. As you can tell, these are not the good hunting ones. The good hunting tips are stored separately. This is just a box of, mostly these are extra training arrows and just extra arrows that we keep in our storage. There's another kind of tip. There's different kind of tips. There's blunts. There's all different kinds. And then you can see like these are the rubber fletchings. And then you saw a minute ago, there's the kind like this, the feather type, the different nocks. Get extra nocks, extra tips, and extra fletching, because you will need them. Let me see what else to talk about. Here's a couple also that just no tip. See, there you go. You got the screw-in tip. And this is a, here we go. See, this even says, it's Carbon Express, 55 to 70. That's your draw weight. So that'd be fine for these bows. Probably not fine for a compound bow. But let me put this away. Archery is fun. It's a good family activity. It's a wholesome activity to get the whole family involved in. You can get kids' bows. They even make these like compound bows. I've even seen them at like Walmart, Big Five, different sporting goods stores like that. That are, they start off with like maybe like a 30-pound draw weight, 35-pound draw weight, but then they're adjustable up to like 75 pounds-ish. Okay, is it, you know, the best for absolute hunting when you're an adult? No. But having that flexibility and adjustability is cool, because then your kid can start out early learning, and then you can adjust the tension, the draw weight, as they get older. And then they can move into an adult bow eventually. But that kid's bow is still viable. 75-pound pull weight, draw weight, yeah, you can still use that for hunting. So it's a family activity. I highly recommend you getting into archery as preppers. At least on a limited basis of at least having the supplies and getting out every once in a while and practicing, having fun. We can, and you can do, another thing that's nice about that is you can do it in your backyard. You can do it depending on the size, of course. You got to have some room, but you don't need as much room as you do with the Evil F things that shoot those Freedom Seed things. And it's quieter. Your neighbors won't lose their minds if you start shooting bows and arrows in your backyard, unless you're sending them into their yard. The arrows, that is. So get into archery. Definitely have lots of extra arrows, lots of extra tips, nocks. Extra bowstrings are very important, because bowstrings don't last forever. Make sure you inspect your bow prior to use. Make sure it's clean, undamaged, especially your bowstrings. Make sure you learn about that. And maybe take a class or two about archery. And then you can get into the whole making of bows and fletching, the making of arrows. Very good skill to have for a long-term event, right? I'd much rather utilize archery for a hunting technique, or whatever other things I need to use archery for, maybe dispatching game, although there's better ways of doing that also. But anyway, for hunting, than to use up very, very valuable those seeds that go really fast, you know what I'm talking about, that are hard to find. So think about this as an option, and get into archery. Have fun with it. Get out with teach your kids. Everybody learn together. If nobody knows about archery, then you can get into it for cheap too. You don't have to have custom handmade longbows and recurves. You can get into it fairly inexpensively, and it's fun. So I highly recommend it. Please subscribe. Please hit the like button. Please comment below. Please share the videos, and spread the love, and share the love with other prepper channels. That's always, always welcome. I always advocate that. A rising tide lifts all boats. So let's lift up all channels. I love you guys. Have a wonderful day, and blessings to you and yours.